All right. Hi, everybody. So we're here with Claire, and Claire is an Amazon expert who works on the Amazon platform with KDP and also does coaching for Amazon sellers and represents other people who are selling their products, so manages their stores for them on Amazon. Hi, Claire. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Hi, Talia. Thank you. You're welcome.
And I was blessed to meet Claire when we were both traveling in the same location in 2023. So it's nice to be able to see a familiar face on the camera today. All right. So Claire's going to share some insights with us about how she started her Amazon business and let you know the ins and outs. So to begin with, Claire, could you let us know what a really great day looks like for you?
Yes, a great day basically is a day where everything went smoothly, which is kind of a miracle when you're working on Amazon, mostly Amazon seller. Because just to be clear from the beginning, Amazon seller and Amazon KDP are different platforms. They are not working the same way. Amazon KDP is way more easier to manage than Amazon seller, for example. So for me, a very good day is a day where I've been creative and I have a lot of ideas to create new books for my KDP account, for example. It's also a day, of course, where I have a lot of sales, so I'm making money. And for my clients, so mostly I'm managing Amazon seller accounts for them. So it's a day where everything went smoothly. I don't have anything to solve, any problem that just pop up like this. So that's a wonderful day.
Sounds good. And so could you let us know, what does KDP stand for anyone who
Yes,
doesn't?
KDP, it's a Kindle Direct Publishing. So it's print-on-demand platform for books. So you can just upload PDF on the Amazon KDP platform and sell this PDF in ebooks or also paper book. And what's great with the paperbook version is that Amazon is doing all the work for you. So each time you have a sale, it's Amazon that prints the book, ship the book to the customer, and also is in charge of the after sales. For example, if the customer is unhappy and want to return the book, you don't have anything to do. It's Amazon that who's in charge of everything for you.
And I'm very fortunate in that we've already had a good chat about this. So I know you let me know that if I might be interested in Amazon selling, that would be the way to go. Perhaps doesn't require quite as much patience as the other type of Amazon selling. Is that right?
Yes, it's way more easier. It's easier than Amazon seller, definitely. Way less problem.
We can get into that later. So would you like to share with us about the books that you do online, the products that you sell through KDP?
Yeah. Yes, I have actually different kind of books I'm selling. I started with what we call medium content. In KDP, you will hear a lot like low content, medium content, and high content. So it's basically the kind of book you're publishing on the platform. So the low content is like, for example, journals or lined notebook. So you basically just uploading a file with only lines. There is really no words. So that's low content. The medium content is it's more like, for example, a coloring book or activity books for kids. That's what I started with. And the high content, it's what we think when we think about a book. So it's a book with a lot of writing, explaining something, just telling a story, for example. So I started with the medium content, doing a lot of books for kids. And then I also published some books more for adults, like a budget tracker, bullet journal, this kind of books. And also I published some books dedicated to Amazon to help people start Amazon business. Now I have low content, medium content, and high content.
The examples that you gave us, so you've got your children's colouring books, which I've seen, and they're adorable. And then you are also doing sometimes journals. And what was the other example, aside from your Amazon instructional books?
Yes.
So Amazon instructional books, journals, and what was the other example?
It's like a budget planner or bullet journal.
So are they all considered medium content, or would some of those be low content? Would like a calendar for the year be the low content one?
Yes, calendar for the year will be a low content one.
Okay.
The budget planner and the bullet journal will be considered medium content. Yes.
All right. And which type have you found has been the most successful for you in terms of sales?
It's basically the books dedicated to kids, but it's because
Okay.
it's a huge niche. Like there is a lot of sales in this niche.
And are yours French or bilingual, the children's picture books?
Actually, most of my book can be sold in every platform. Actually, I sell a lot of my books in the US, for example, or in Spain, because on activity books, most of the time, there is nothing written. You know, it's just coloring pages or Sudoku pages, for example. So it doesn't matter what language the book is. Well, of course, my cover is in French.
Okay.
But basically, I can just sell the book all over the world. And I also have some only 3 books. It's story for kids. And so I translated these books using ChatGPT in different languages
Nice.
to propose the books in different languages.
Would you like to run us through the creative process that you go through from sort of the idea for the book through to getting it ready for the platform, and also let us know the tools you use? I know you mentioned ChatGPT.
Usually it starts both ways. I either have an idea and I check on Amazon if it's a good niche. So because creating book takes time. So you have to be sure when you want to create a book that there actually is a demand for this. So it's important to check on Amazon, okay, is there a demand? What about the competition? Is it like super high? Is it affordable? To understand if it's going to be easy or not to go on the market. Once you're sure there is the demand, is it going to be easy to go or not on the market? Also to be prepared. For example, maybe you will understand that if it's a very competitive market, very competitive niche, you will need to invest a lot in advertising or social media to communicate about your book. So yeah, usually I have an idea and I check on Amazon if it's a good idea. Or I also get ideas from Amazon. I'm just going on Amazon looking for the best sales, and I'm getting some inspiration of what kind of book I could create. And then I'm using mostly Canva to create all my books, mostly the cover. I love creating the cover. It's really
Nice.
the creating part that I like the most. And for the inside of my book, I'm either creating things through Canva, but I'm also using other websites. Like the one I use the most is Creative Fabrica. It's a website where you can find a lot of fonts and patterns and everything you need to be creative, by the way. So yes, I would say the tools I use the most to create the books are Canva and Creative Fabrica.
Nice. Well, I'll get those links and make sure that I'm sure most people here are aware of Canva, but I'll make sure we share the link to the other website that you're using as well. Very good. And how long, is there sort of an average of how long that process would take, or is it takes as long as it takes from sort of idea through to having the PDF ready to go up on Amazon?
Okay, so from the idea to the book is published on Amazon, it depends of the kind of book. Of course, if you're doing just a notebook journal, you can do everything in like you publish the book in 1 day, and the book can be published in only 3 days, because when you publish the book, Amazon is going to review your book to decide if it can be published or not. Most of the time, when it's refused, it's not about your content. Except if your content is violent or racist or anything like this, but they don't really care about your content. It's mostly because you made a mistake on the format of your book. So
Okay.
on the margins, for example, they are not right. So Amazon can't cut the book properly for the printing version. So that's most of the time why it can be refused. So Amazon can take till 5 days to approve a book before it's published on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So let's say that the time to start the idea to to publish it on Amazon, yes, for a notebook journal, it can be only 1 or 2 days. For multiple activity books, it can be like maybe 3 days time to get the idea of what kind of activities I want for this book. Also decided what age the target is going to be for this book, because of course the activities are not the same regarding the age of the kid. So yes, it can be maybe 3 days. And for the writing book, for example, the one I published about Amazon, before ChatGPT, let's say it would be at least 1 month, but then ChatGPT arrived and a miracle happened. And now using ChatGPT and also all the contents are already created, on social media. I'm using ChatGPT to just rewrite everything. So I was able to publish a book in only 1 week, which is insane. Yes.
That's awesome. Great. We've gone through what sounds like a really creative and enjoyable process, and also a surprisingly fast one to go from ideation through the creative process and getting ready to go online on Amazon for sales. So that all sounds really attractive. I'd like to do something like that. So what about if you had a challenging day? What would that look like for you as an Amazon seller and also an Amazon manager?
It will be basically the opposite of a good day. Like my sales are bad, or I have some Amazon ads, Amazon campaign that are losing money. I have a lot of problems of my clients' accounts. So they just pop up like this. The algorithm decided to, I don't know why, but they decided that there is a problem on the account and decided to block a listing, for example, or to block an account. So this is obviously a very bad day, because it's going to be complicated to understand what the problem is and how to solve it. And on Amazon KDP, it would be like being not inspired. Like, for example, 1 week ago, I was working on a cover, creating a cover of a book. And everything I was able to create, for me, it was like, shit, I was like, oh no, it's terrible. I can't... I can put this online, and it was it's very difficult, and it took me like 3 days to end up with a right cover. So sometimes it can be hard if you have a lack of creativity. But also a lot of people on Amazon KDP like to ask other person to create their own cover. You can just pay someone on Fiverr, for example, to create your cover. Usually I decide to do my own cover because it's something I really like, as I'm a really creative person. But yeah, sometimes creativity just decided that it wasn't its day. So you have to deal with that.
The muse can't always be tamed. So I guess the listeners, if they're interested, would have to do a self-assessment to work out, am I the kind of person who could go on Amazon and be creative? Or am I the kind of person who would need to collaborate with other people to take it from start to finish? Or am I the kind of person who really would just want to be managing other people's Amazon products for them? So we'll leave that to the audience to decide. But let's say someone does have a creative idea. I think it's interesting to discuss, like, if you are feeling flat with your creativity, how do you approach that to get the creative juices back again?
What you said just earlier is really interesting. Of course, you don't need to be creative to do some Amazon KDP. You also don't need to know about the topics you're going to write. For example, there is a lot of Amazon KDP account being very successful. It's high content, so it's book dedicated, for example, to how to earn money, how to lose weight, and all this stuff. And the people having these accounts, they are just focusing on finding a good niche. They don't create the inside of the book, the content. They don't create the cover. They don't do anything about the book. They just ask other people to do this for them, people who are skilled on these topics. And they focused only on finding good niches on Amazon KDP. And when they have the book, they focus on advertising it well, create a good listing. So it's really only strategy. So it's important to know that even if you are not creative at all, or you just don't like the process of creating a book, doesn't matter what kind of book, you can be successful on Amazon KDP just by focusing on the right niches and doing the right listing and advertising the book the right way. You can go to Amazon KDP the both way. And if you're doing it because you're creative, That's why I just started Amazon KDP in the first place. It was just a way for me to create things and put them online. As you said earlier, creativity need to be trained. And I think why I had, for example, a problem to create a cover like 1 week ago, it's because I haven't been creative for weeks, almost months, because I was focused on other projects. And in this project, creativity wasn't involved. So I kind of lost it. And I needed time to train again before it came back. So I think to be more creative, you need to get inspired. For me, for example, I like to watch some videos on YouTube about people painting or creating things. I also like to go on a walk on the beach, for example, and letting my brain think about everything. When I feel a lack of creativity, I need some outside input to get creativity. And most of the time, I don't need to look at something very similar to what I'm going to create. You know, I just need to get inspired by everything and to kind of feed the creativity and the envy. I feel like for me, for example, the creativity is really linked to the envy. So I need to feed this to get my creativity back.
That sounds very similar to my process as well. So you mentioned about the inputs, whether it's books, reading books, or listening to music, or seeing other creative things, or even just having experiences out in the world. And you included nature as well, getting charged up by nature, and then allowing that to kind of percolate inside. So it sounds as though you're taking inspiration from other types of mediums, and then staying away from children's picture books, because that would become copying. So when I used to write songs, I used to do the same thing. I'd listen to music, but it had to be all instrumental while I was writing lyrics. I can't listen to anyone else's lyrics, but I can go and read a book or watch a movie, but I can't listen to the same art form while I'm trying to create that type of art. Sounds like you're doing something similar.
What works great for me is like getting a dopamine rush. So I'm very happy and excited when I see people creating things, painting, for example, or as you, for example, it can be listening really nice music that I like. And also I discovered last week that dancing actually is also very useful. I went to a club last week, and I haven't been to a club for maybe months. So I didn't really dance for months. And so last week I danced a lot on the music, and I discovered the day after I was so energized. You know, I had a lot of dopamine inside me, and I had so many ideas, and I was so motivated to try some new things. So yeah, I was like, okay, I have to keep it in mind. Next time I have a creative issue, maybe I just try to go dancing.
That's a nice excuse to go dancing.
No.
Not that anyone should need one, but if we ever feel like, yeah, maybe under the pump, that there's a lot of work to be done, can't really justify a night out, maybe a night out is exactly what you need.
Exactly.
I love that. Nice. All right. So if you were looking to get someone to either work on your team to support you, or even to fill your shoes for you, what kind of person would you look for?
A problem solver. I'm going to speak now mostly for Amazon seller. So yeah, for Amazon seller, you have to be a problem solver. I remember when I started my journey on Amazon seller, I asked a guy I met. He was doing this job for 10 years now, and I asked him, okay, what's the most important thing to succeed in Amazon business? And I was expecting him to tell me some important things, you know, like focusing on the shipping or being able to deal with the suppliers and all this stuff. But actually, he told me, oh, being patient. You really need to be patient. And I completely agree. Now that I've been working on Amazon for 3 years, you really have to be patient, or you will just lose your mind. And also being very pugnacious, which means that you don't have to give up, because when you encounter problems on Amazon seller, most of the times it's going to be difficult to solve them, because the algorithm just creating a bug, and the Amazon support has no idea why there is these bugs and how to solve it. So most of the time you need to find the solution by yourself. It takes time, and even when you have the solution, it's very difficult to resolve the problem because the Amazon support isn't doing the right things to help you. So yes, you have to be patient and also not let it go. Like every day you're pushing to ask them to do something to make things worse. Because if you're not enough pugnacious, you won't manage to get your problem solved.
Yes, so pugnacious is actually a word that I had to Google. So I think translating from French over to English, and probably typically in English we'd say perseverance. Most people would probably say
Yes.
that. So meaning a similar thing. So we're sort of separating Amazon KDP now, which is where you're submitting your PDF files and they're printing on behalf, because that actually for the most part can be a pretty easy process. Is that right?
Yes, most of the
You're
time
not
you don't really have problems on Amazon KDP. It's mostly Amazon sellers. So Amazon KDP, you can have problems. For example, I had a problem one day, like also there was a bug with the algorithm. So my publish book were just, they were just send me emails back telling me, okay, we can publish your book because it's not the right dimensions, and they were giving me the dimensions, so I would change all the file on the right dimensions, and each time they were asking me again to change it. So I end up contacting the support, telling them, okay, there is obviously a problem there, and they solve it for me. Sometimes you can also have problems on your listings, like things didn't appear the way they should on the listings, but it's really small problems, and usually the support can solve this problem really fast and easy.
Okay, so if you think about the whole process together for KDP, because I want to sort of get that and sort of stick it to the side whilst we talk about the other part of Amazon, what percentage out of that whole process would you say are you actually encountering problems with the platform and with Amazon or with their support staff overall? So let's say in a week or over a month or across the year, would it be sort of 10% of the time, 20%?
Oh, I think it's only 5%.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
We can work with that. Nice. And then, so let's put that up to the side. And so now we're just focusing on Amazon, being an Amazon seller, probably what a lot of people are more familiar with. So not the Kindle books, not the PDFs. And this is where you're mostly focused on selling other people's products. Is that right? Not so much your own?
Yes, exactly. I'm not selling on Amazon Seller anymore. I'm also only in charge of my client accounts. Now I'm only selling products on Amazon KDP.
And this is where the challenges come in. So could you provide some examples for us of, I know you've shared that you are sort of having to call the support people at Amazon and explain to them how to solve the problem sometimes, because perhaps at this point, how many years have you been working with Amazon for?
3 years.
So you've been, and it's possible that the support person that you're talking to just started working at Amazon in the last year. So maybe sometimes you have more experience than the support staff.
Most of the time you have more experience than the support staff. Yes. So most of the time, that's also why it becomes for me a little bit easier each time to find a solution, because I already know the problem. So I can just tell them, okay, this is a problem, this is how you have to solve them. So I just have to focus to be sure they are solving the problem.
Do you find they need reminders, or would letting them know one time be enough?
Most of the time, one time is not enough. I feel like when Amazon is only working with algorithms. So most of the time when you send a message to the support, actually it's not a human responding you, it's just the algorithm. So they give you an answer which is obviously not the right answer because they didn't really get your problems, because it's just the algorithm responding to you. And I had this feeling like I started to get interesting answer after the fifth message. So I was thinking, okay, maybe at the beginning they are just letting the algorithm do the things, because if it's an easy problem, maybe it's enough. And after a few messages, maybe they just decide to translate the conversation to a human, because they understand that the algorithms can't solve the problem. So it's a human who starts to get the message and starts responding you. And so if you're lucky, the human is competent enough and can help you. If you're not, you have to continue to send messages, because then the conversation goes to someone else. it's also a tricky part on Amazon. It's each time you send a message, someone new received the message. So you can have a right answer and then you enter something, but someone else get the message and they are not as competent as the previous one. So the next answer is completely bullshit. And you have to start again.
Things getting lost in translation.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds challenging, to say the least. All right. And so if even hearing all of that, someone thought, hey, I might want to follow in Claire's footsteps and either start my own KDP or start being an Amazon seller, or and we can get into your Amazon coaching afterwards, what would you suggest to them if they wanted to follow in your footsteps?
To really train about Amazon and how it works, even if you're doing KDP, because KDP is way more easier than Amazon seller, but your books will be sold on Amazon platform, and Amazon platform works the same. It doesn't matter if you're doing KDP or seller. So you have to understand how Amazon SEO works, how Amazon SEA works, and all this so important for you to be able to succeed. Like if you're publishing an amazing book, it's really the best book of the year, but your listing is not optimized for Amazon SEA. You're not doing advertising. You're not creating A+ content, for example. All these things that are specific to Amazon, you're going to fail. So even if you're already good doing some e-commerce, you won't succeed on Amazon if you're just trying Amazon without training first and understanding how the platform works. It's really, really important, to my opinion, to understand this before starting Amazon. It doesn't matter if it's seller or KDP, but just understand how Amazon works.
So just to be clear, SEO, search engine optimization, and SEA?
It's the same for advertising.
There's a lot of different sort of parts that someone, if they want to do it all themselves like you do, so many different hats to wear to understand the keywords that people are searching in the Amazon search bar. Is that?
Yes, exactly. It's understand actually there is a different things linked to the SEO on Amazon. Most of the time people think SEO is only keywords.
Okay.
So it's true, but on Amazon, it's more than that. There is the keywords, there is the categories, which are very important for your SEO. There is also how well your product sells. The more you sell, the more your SEO will be good. There is also the advertising part, which is very important. For example, in Google, the advertising doesn't affect your SEO. In Amazon, it affects your SEO, and it's a good thing. Why? Because for Amazon, it doesn't matter if you sell a product through an advertised offer or through a natural offer. For Amazon, a sale is a sale. So if you're doing good advertising and your listing is really optimized for conversion, you're going to sell a lot. And the more you sell, the more Amazon push your product to the customers, because Amazon wants to make money, because that's how Amazon earn money. It's taking a percentage of your sales. So the more you sell, the more Amazon is pushing your listing to the customer. So the better your SEO is. So you see that there is a lot of different kind of things you have to work in order to have a great SEO on Amazon. And it's not only keywords. Actually, keywords is just a small part.
So I know that sometimes there's stories online about become an Amazon seller and it's passive income and nice and easy, start today, just buy my course and you'll get rich overnight. What would you say to the people who are sharing that message, and also the people who might want to buy those courses and believe the hype?
And this is a lie. I mean, you can definitely do some passive income with Amazon. And to my opinion, Amazon KDP is even more passive income than Amazon seller, because Amazon seller really take a lot of time. So yeah, you can do passive income, but not overnight, not easy. So you'll need to spend a lot of time to understand Amazon and to creating the products and to sell the products, or you will need to spend a lot of money to have other people to do it for you. But either way, it's not going to be like this with only $500 starting something and being rich in 3 months. No.
So would you like to share with us, I know that you do Amazon coaching and mostly the information that you share is on LinkedIn. That's where most of your clients come from. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. My clients, like 98% of my clients come from LinkedIn, and it's only inbound marketing. So they see my posts, they follow my profile, and they decide to contact me so I can help them on Amazon. But, I'm helping people now mostly on Amazon KDP. I started to get new clients. I stopped to get new clients on Amazon Seller because I have enough of them, enough problems to solve. So now it's mostly Amazon KDP. So I'm helping either it can be an author, for example, who want to publish a book on Amazon, just to have the book to be published. So I help them on this part, on the strategy, on how to do a good SEO listing, how to advertise on the platform, how to create good cover, because the cover is very important on Amazon KDP. People are going to judge your book by the cover. So you really have to have an optimized cover for the platform.
Mhm.
And I can also help people who want to do like me, just publish a random kind of book, just to have an Amazon KDP business. And also helping entrepreneurs to use Amazon as a way to get qualified leads for their business. So basically, you're going to publish a book, an ebook online about your skills, your topic. And at the end of the book, you just add a CTA, a call to action to ask the people to contact you, for example, or to download a specific resource. And so you're going to get their emails and add them on your email list. And so you can work on this prospect because you know they are already qualified for what you're selling because they are already interested on the topics or your skills. So it's a nice way to, yes, to get leads from a channel that most of people don't really use that way.
Very smart. So I'm thinking with LinkedIn, that with the clients that are coming your way, they probably already have a job or they have a business and they're looking to just it's a something on the side for them, something to tag on to what they're already doing? Or do you find that through LinkedIn you're finding people who actually want to transfer over to fully working full time on Amazon?
No, for them, it's mostly a side business. But I guess it's because they're coming from LinkedIn. So they already have professional who needs Amazon as a new channel, for example, to sell the products, or for the entrepreneur, a new way to get some qualified leads. The people who are really working for a full-time Amazon KDP business, most of the time they are looking for information on YouTube. If they are buying a training, for example, it will be from a YouTube creator. And I'm not on YouTube. That's why I don't have this kind of leads.
And through your process when you were learning how to work with Amazon, now up to the point where now after 3 years you're an expert and you help other people, did you come across any resources online on YouTube or work with anyone else to support you in your journey?
Actually, I trained with to my opinion, the best Amazon experts in French.
Okay.
So I bought a lot of training from this guy. And also I use a lot YouTube, but even in my everyday life, like I don't know how to do this thing, I'm going to look on YouTube how to do this. And by the way, that's on YouTube that I discovered about Amazon KDP business. I'd never heard about it before I found a video on YouTube about it. And I said, oh, what's this? And I liked the idea and I decided to try it. So yes, I think YouTube is the best way to, it's a good way to start, like to get some information and trying to understand things. I really think that you can be trained only with YouTube, but it's just going to be longer than buying a training because you will have just random information. You have to decide if they are right or not, and in which order using them, like on the process, like you have to do this first and then this and this and this. And so if you have the information coming from random parts, you don't always know how to do it properly. So I think if you decide to train on YouTube or to take a training, it's mostly, okay, do you want to go fast or not? Mostly dedicated to Amazon KDP, I'm following, because most of the time they are in English. So
Okay.
I can give you the link of these channels.
Great. So we'll share some of those. And if someone is thinking about following in your footsteps and going down this path, what are some key things that you would perhaps warn them about that they should look out for, either in that world, if they're going to look at training online or thinking about buying courses, or even in terms of setting up the Amazon and working with the Amazon platform or selecting products? What sort of things might they need to look out for or be mindful of?
They should be careful of people telling them, "Oh, it's so easy. You're going to be rich in few months," because most of the time it's well, of course it's a lie. So maybe you don't want to buy a training of someone who's lying from you since the beginning. Probably nothing will happen the way you expected it to happen. Like you have your plan. For example, you want to sell a product on Amazon. You did the training. You find the product. You find the supplier. You're receiving the product. You put it online, and you're like, okay, it's going to work. And at each part of the process, something will happen, and you're not expecting it to happen, but it will happen. And it's how things work, in life. It's always like this. So yeah, you really have to be ready for your journey to be completely different from what you're expecting. And being ready for this means you say, okay, I was planning to do this. I won't be able to do this anymore because for any reason it won't work. So what am I doing instead? And how can I solve the problem? How can I try another way to get to the same result? Yes, it's something you have to be prepared. You have the training telling you, okay, that's what you're supposed to do. But then you have the reality that tell you, okay, we are not doing like this. We are not going to do it like this. It's going to be a little bit more adventurous, but at some point we will end up at the final result.
With if you're pugnacious. If you don't
Yes.
give up. Very good. So if someone did want to start, I guess again there are different ways that it could be approached. So if someone wanted to completely do it on their own, how much in terms of starting their own Amazon and selling their own products, how much sort of startup, like what kind of budget do you think someone would need to start on their own?
Yes. So for Amazon seller, I think under 5K, like $5,000,
Mhm.
it's really going to be very complicated to start an Amazon business. Because it's not only like you have to buy the products, but you also have to anticipate the fact that you will need to buy more products before you went out of stock. So you will need to spend more money before you get the first result of the product you sold. So on average, I would say like 10K can be nice, $10,000. But to my opinion, the minimum would be like 5,000. And also because you have to anticipate the budget for the product photos, for the advertising, which is really important on Amazon. I really think that you can success on Amazon without advertising on the platform. It was maybe able like 5 years ago, but now it's not.
Where's the advertising taking place? Is that on Google or how does that work?
It's on Amazon platform. They have their own and you advertising directly on Amazon platform, and it's also very interesting compared to Google advertising
All right.
because on Amazon customers are already here to buy things. So in French we say ils sont chauds, so it's like a hot customer ready to buy. So it's easier to convert them. So that's why the advertising on Amazon is usually more efficient than on Google, for example.
Add to cart, add to cart. Oh, bit of that while I'm here as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Amazon is very, very good to, showing products to the customers. So for example, they are looking at something and Amazon is telling them, oh, but maybe you need also this, and pushing your products.
I remember now. I'm a little bit rusty with Amazon for a couple of reasons. One is because last time I checked, we don't actually have Amazon in New Zealand. So I've never got into the habit of using it here. We have an alternative. And then obviously being in Asia, I got used to Lazada, which is
Yeah.
fun to be in a totally new platform that's run quite differently to what I'm used to. I enjoyed that. So it's more when I'm in Europe or the UK where I use Amazon more. And
Yeah.
the other reason why I don't use it that much is for some reason I always get blocked out of my own account.
Oh,
Such a hassle to get back in that I'm like, oh, I'll just buy it somewhere else. But I was impressed one time when I moved into an apartment at short notice in the middle of COVID in 2020 in London, and then realized that there were no towels there. And so I ordered Amazon same day delivery and literally got fresh towels delivered to the door. And I was like, wow, Amazon.
So we said about Amazon seller, it's, to my opinion, minimum 5K, 10K, you're being comfortable. For Amazon KDP, it can be 0 if you're doing everything on your own. Maybe you will spend like, okay, maybe let's say $20 per month, like the Canva Pro, to pay, the Canva Pro monthly, and maybe Creative Fabrica also monthly, which is very cheap. So maybe 20 if you're doing everything on your own.
But do people still need to run ads for KDP, or how are they getting attention to their ebook, let's say?
So most of the time, it's the books that you sell, which are going to give you the money for the ads. So at the beginning, you have to invest the money, but then you are going the result of your sales, and so you can reinvest the money on the ads, and you can choose the strategy. Like for example, you just doing the minimum of ads just to try to sell the book, or you investing everything in the ads. You're like, okay, at the beginning, I don't care if I don't earn anything with that book. I just want to rank high, so I just investing everything on the ads. So that's the kind of strategy you have to decide.
Okay. And so let's say someone wanted to go on the lower end, affordable, cheap for their ads. What would be the smallest budget someone could work with to launch an ebook?
Yeah, even on Amazon KDP ads, you can decide it to be very, very low on the budget. If you have another strategy, for example, you have a very big email list, or you have a lot of followers on your social accounts, and you decide to advertise your product through this channel, for free, and you just send the customers on Amazon to buy your product. So actually, you can have a lot of sales even without Amazon ads at all, but just because you were able to send some traffic on your Amazon listings.
That makes sense. And maybe if you don't have your own list, if your topic relates to someone else who might have a list, you can try your luck messaging other people with the mailing
Yes.
list, saying, here's a relevant book that I think your audience might be interested in.
And there is also a lot of people now trying to do it on TikTok. Like they are doing some TikTok videos about the products. And so people are going on Amazon to see and buy the product.
I've heard about, and I don't know, so I'm interested to hear from you, that sometimes some people offer their book on Amazon for free for, I guess, some sort of longer benefit to generate an audience or good reviews. How does that work?
Yes, exactly. When you're launching your book on Amazon, it works only for the ebook version. You can decide to subscribe to the KDP Select program on Amazon. So it's completely free to subscribe on it. So basically, how it works is like during 3 months, you're going to be part of the of the KDP program, because Amazon sell subscription. Yes, subscription. So as a client, you can decide to subscribe to the Kindle subscription, which means that you pay like, I don't know, maybe $10 every month, and you can read all the ebooks you want for free that are part of this Kindle subscription. So when you subscribe to KDP Select, you actually allows Amazon to put your book on the Kindle subscription. And so all the people who have this subscription can read your book for free. So it's a nice way to get comments on your books, because these people, most of the time, they are rating your books when they are done reading it. And also this program allows you to advertise your book. No, it's not really advertise the right word. It's like during 5 days on this 3 months period, you can decide to put your ebook at €0 or $0 for free. So the download is free. So it's a nice way to have people, even if these people don't have the Kindle subscription, they can download the ebook for free. So it's a nice way to ask people, hey, this is a free download. Can you please download the book and leave a comment on Amazon for me? So it's a really good way to have comments, because it's really important on Amazon to have comments to sell your product. The social proof is really, really important on this platform.
I was looking at buying something online today, and Mum said, well, what do the reviews say? And I said, there are no reviews. And she goes, oh, red flag.
Yes, and actually what's interesting, it's when you really have a lot of reviews on Amazon, you can even afford to be more pricey than your competitor, because the clients are willing to pay more because you have so many reviews. They're like, okay, I'd rather pay more and be sure the product is going to be good.
Yes. Yeah. If it's $5, $10, maybe $20, it's money well spent to have that certainty. If there's like no reviews, but the no reviews one is $100 less, we might consider taking the gamble.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. And is it that sometimes some people do they do a free book at the start, free download, and then once they've got the reviews and they've had a lot of downloads, then they change it to actually costing money after that?
Yes. So
Okay.
if there is a lot of comments, you know that obviously there was a lot of products that were bought by the clients. And if the comments are good, that means that probably the product is good too.
So I'm thinking along those lines for people who might be interested in getting involved in Amazon, but not really doing it themselves, more supporting someone else.
I would say that to my opinion, to do some freelancing, like as you said, like, for example, like I'm doing, being in charge of the Amazon seller account of my clients. It's very difficult if you didn't try it first yourself, because
Yes.
again, there is so many problems to solve and so many things to understand about Amazon, that just having the theoretical knowledge is not enough. So what could be an option eventually, it's to be hired on a company, because there is some companies who are focused on doing what I'm basically doing as a freelancer. So they are in charge of the Amazon accounts of big companies, for example, or even small companies, but that have the budget to pay them to get in charge of their account and their Amazon strategy. So maybe it can be a way to learn and to really do the things without having your own products, because you're going to work on this client account, and so you're going to learn step by step how to do the different things. But I think if you don't have experience at all, it's going to be very difficult to do this kind of job. You need either way have your own experience, like you launch your own product on Amazon and you learn that way, or working on a company who's doing yes, the job on the client accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just, by watching videos, thinking that you know how Amazon works and how to do the things properly, and doing these things for the clients. You need the experience.
Yes, definitely not recommending that someone goes and starts their own sort of Amazon publishing house without understanding how Amazon works. Better to be your own guinea pig than bring unwitting clients in.
Sorry, I just remember the word I was looking for. It's agency. So you
An
can work for
agency.
Amazon agency.
Okay.
Yes.
So that would be good to be able to look that up and see which sort of Amazon agencies are around. So if someone was perhaps coming from another background and they wanted to they wanted to go into working with an Amazon agency, I'm guessing like if someone has a digital marketing background, that maybe they could sidestep into an Amazon agency, that there might be some other skills that could translate over if it's product photography or understanding how to write sort of some product summaries and things like that. Would some of those skills translate over so that someone could perhaps come from a different background and go into an Amazon agency at an entry-level position perhaps?
Yes, if you have already a background in digital or e-commerce,
Mhm.
it can be easier for you to enter in an Amazon agency. I guess if you don't have any experience on Amazon, maybe you will start at a lower job, time for you to learn how it works. But to my opinion, if you want to try on your own Amazon business, so not through an agency, but on your own, you can do it whatever the background you have. For example, I wasn't working on e-commerce at all before starting on Amazon business. I just decided to launch my Amazon business and to train about it. So it's really a business if you're willing to train and to test and learn that you can do on your own, whatever your background is. Being for an agency, they would expect you to have some backgrounds a little bit interesting for them, like maybe you already know what SEO is and how it is supposed to work, and how to manage advertising campaign, even if it's on Google, because the roots are the same, you know.
Did you go remote in 2021?
Yes.
And so before that, what were you doing? Working with makeup?
Before that, I was a salesperson in the cosmetic industry in France. So I had different kind of roles in sales. And my last job was to be responsible of the sales development of a small cosmetic brand startup. And that's how I discovered the Amazon business, because I had also to develop the sales on e-commerce. And so we decided to launch the brand on Amazon. And that's how I discovered that it was possible to actually have your own business on Amazon. You didn't need to have a brand or big company to sell on Amazon. You can just decide to sell any product you want on Amazon. And so, yeah, that's why when I had the idea to actually try my own business.
I love that. I love this. You were an employee in a company and then you ran their Amazon, you put their product on Amazon for them and developed that strategy. And then that was a paid education for you to then go on later and launch your own thing. Because sometimes I think we have, it's sort of, being an entrepreneur or solopreneur is over here and being an employee is over here, and they're sort of separate things with a separate mindset, but actually they can complement each other, and being an employee can be really help you to develop a valuable skill set whilst getting paid that can support a later dream. And maybe people don't even know what that is at the time, but if you're in those kind of spaces learning these transferable skills, learning e-commerce, learning sales strategy, it's setting you up nicely to be able to later go on and do your own thing. So let us know, what was the point that happened sort of before 2021 that made you think, right, I'm going to stop being an employee and I'm going to start doing my own thing?
Actually, I was thinking of this for a few years before I started to be an entrepreneur. I knew I needed to be an entrepreneur because I just knew I wasn't adapted to be an employee. I was, yes, most of the time I was so frustrated as an employee. I wasn't challenged enough. I hadn't enough freedom to my opinion. So I knew I had to be an entrepreneur, not because I wanted to, but because I was obviously not adapted to be an employee. But I didn't get the idea of, okay, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I need to have a business and what kind of business I want. And I couldn't get inspiration, something I really wanted to do. Like, for example, the obvious solution was to work on social media, like content creator maybe, or working on marketing or this kind of areas. But I wasn't interested in this. And so when I discovered the Amazon business, I was like, perfect, that's what I need, because I already know that I wanted a business. I could work only online because I wanted to be able to travel. So the digital nomad life was something I was interested for years. And I knew that when I was going to be an entrepreneur, my business has to be completely created toward this goal, like being able to travel and to work online from all over the world. So that's why when I discovered the Amazon business, I was like, oh, that's super idea. Even for Amazon seller, because on Amazon KDP, Amazon is in charge of everything for you, like shipping the products. So you don't care where you are. Amazon is shipping the product for you. But even on the Amazon seller business, you can use the FBA service, Fulfilled by Amazon service, which means that you're basically sending your products to the Amazon warehouses, and it's Amazon that is shipping the product for you. So you don't need to be physically somewhere to be able to ship your product. You can just let Amazon doing everything for you. So it's a really nice business when you want to work all over the world online.
I know that you've embraced the life of being a digital nomad now. Can you share like a highlight story for you of something that you've really enjoyed so far?
Yes, I really like the journey, actually, the lifestyle. It's difficult for me to remember like one really good moment or something I really liked. When I think about my experiences, it's always a package, you know. I like everything about even the difficulties, by the way, of this lifestyle. That's I like to see how I evolve each time I arrive in a new place, because each time, well, you know what it is. Everything is new. So you arrive at a place, it's new, it's new language, new habits, new currency, new everything. So you get to adapt fast of this new environment and to get more familiar with it. And I really like to see how in maybe 1 week or 10 days, we manage to arrive at this point where, okay, everything is not new anymore. We have our favorite places. We know where to go if we want this kind of products. We know where to go to just have our walk, for example. What's also very interesting for me is the moment I realized I don't need to translate all the time. The currency is my mind. Like, I stopped asking myself, okay, how much is it in euros? You know, I just starting to say, okay, 50K, it's a good price. So this kind of details that really let you know it's becoming your new habits. And also most of the time, the people I'm able to meet during my journey, because yes, it's always very open-minded people. And also these people have a lot of experience, personal experience. They traveled a lot, so it's so interesting to speak with them.
It was a real pleasure to meet you. So if you had to sort of rewind right back to before you started your Amazon business, would you approach things differently, knowing now what you knew, what you didn't know back then?
Not on the process. As I said, I tried by training, by learning how it works, and then doing the test and learn things. Like, okay, I launched my own product and I learned step by step. But what I would do differently, being more relaxed, like accept more what I said earlier, like nothing is going to happen the way you expect it to go. And just be okay with this. And it's very important, because when I think about my first attempt to sell products on Amazon, I was so stressed, but really, really, really stressed, because nothing was working as I was expecting it to. And it was during COVID-19, so of course there was a lot of problems also. It wasn't the best period to start, but yeah, I was very, very stressed. But each time I was able to find a solution, you know, as I said, being a problem solver. And yeah, I should be more confident about these parts. It would probably have been easier for me to live if I was able to say, okay, it's going to be okay. I'm going to find a solution, whatever happens. It's there's no need to be so stressed all the time.
Yeah, reassuring self-talk.
Yeah.
And I guess that can also come with experience. It's almost like a bit of a Zen Buddhist practice, a modern Zen Buddhist practice, is that you're learning to remain calm in the face of Amazon problems. Because
Yeah.
and when you had experience, you know, all the other problems I've ever had, I solved them all. So of course, this problem I will also solve, because I've solved all of them so far. Whereas in the early days, you may not know that, but if someone can trust that problems will come and they will be solved, and if they can't be solved, they probably actually can't be solved. You know, that
Yes.
there is actually a solution, but for anything that has a solution, if you persevere, if you're pugnacious, you'll find the solution.
Yes, and even if you think you don't have the skill for this, it's someone I discovered that being an entrepreneur, as you know, it's doing 100 jobs in the same time, and there is so many things you don't know about. You have no idea how it works and how it's supposed to work. And so at the beginning, when you have all these problems coming, you're supposed to solve, but you have no idea how things work. It's easy to think, okay, I can't solve this because I just don't know how to do it. And yeah, what my experience teach me, it's that it doesn't matter if you have the skill or not. If you're just going to find a solution anyway, it's going to be easy or not to find a solution. It's going to be fast or not, but you will end up somehow to find a solution, and you just have to try and to trust yourself that you're able to find a solution.
Amazon as in life, life as in Amazon, as in
Yes.
digital nomadism.
Actually, Amazon is a very interesting way to discover yourself. I really realized that since I started as an entrepreneur, I grow a lot as a person. And of course, it's because when you become entrepreneur, you have to deal with a lot of things. So you really grow in the process. But I think also working with Amazon make me grow even bigger because it's so challenging all the time that it's really helps you on your own life to yes to grow and to get more confident about
Nice.
yourself and your
That sounds
abilities.
good. Well, hey, maybe I'll get on Amazon. KDP, though, I think that sounds more up my street. So last question. I know that you turn to coaches for support and you've done training for support and you also have YouTube there as a resource. But I know you've discussed another resource that you found really valuable for solutions. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. It's the Entrepreneur Network, right? Yes. I started actually in France. You don't need to travel all around the world to get this entrepreneur network. But as an entrepreneur, to my opinion, it's very important to network with other entrepreneurs because it's something you don't realize really when you're an employee. But even if you're really independent as an employee and your job making you independent, actually you don't realize how much you rely on other people on your everyday work. Like each time you have a small problem, there is always someone to help you on this problem or someone having the knowledge about it. And so when you're an entrepreneur, you end up being really alone with all your decisions, all your problems, and everything you're facing every day. And so having an entrepreneur network is really interesting because these people are able first to understand exactly what you're living, because most of the time they went through this also. And what I'm going to say, I'm not saying that employees are not able to understand, but when you never lived it, you can't understand it, and you can't understand how overwhelming it can be and how stressful it can be. Only an entrepreneur can understand how you're feeling right now. And just being able to speak to someone, even if this person has not the solution to your problem, but being able to speak to someone who understands how you feel right now and is able to tell you, okay, this is normal, but this is also going to pass. It's okay, just relax. It's the normal process. It really helps a lot. And so in this network, you can also have people that are working in the same area as yours, so they can give you some advice like, okay, I already had this problem, this is how I solved it, so you can try it and see if it works for you. It's also very useful. But also if the people is not in your expertise area, they can also come up with a new way to see things. They're saying, okay, I don't know anything about your problem, but I had this problem in my own business that seems a little bit similar. This is how I solved it. Maybe you can try something similar for your problem. So yes, for me, it's really a super important support to be able to speak with other entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if they are in the same business or not as yours. In any case, they are going to be at least supportive to you. So it's important.
And as a solopreneur, if someone was out looking to find people like that, where would you suggest they go? And that's whether they're staying in one location or as a digital nomad?
Yeah, so if you're a digital nomad, it's kind of easy to meet other digital nomads because in the places where you are, most of the time there is like Facebook groups or these kind of things when you can meet other digital nomads. And most of the time, digital nomads are entrepreneurs. Some of them are employees, but it's easier to be a digital nomad when you are entrepreneur. But before traveling, I started to create my own network in Paris. And actually, I created my own networks during COVID-19, so during the lockdown, on LinkedIn. So for me, LinkedIn is a very interesting platform to build connection with other people. So you start by seeing people like we are doing, for example, on video chat, and then you can meet them in real life if you're geographically speaking close. So yes, just starting online can be an easy way to make connections.
And are you saying that you actually launched your own group?
Decided to have a group conversation, for example, or to meet for dinner or anything. And so, yes, it's just people bringing another one. And so you end up by meeting a lot of other people, and you can create some groups like this.
Sounds good. Nice. All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today, Claire. Let's wrap up by talking about the coaching program that you offer. And I know that for the most part, it's for people, French-speaking people.
Yes, actually, I'm working mostly with, not mostly, only with French-speaking people, just because, as I said, all my leads come from LinkedIn, and I'm posting in French in LinkedIn. So that's why French-speaking people came to me. But I'm open to English-speaking people, to Spanish-speaking people. If they understand my English and my accent, it's okay.
Nice.
And what I offer right now, it's linked to Amazon KDP. So I'm full for Amazon seller at the moment. So I'm helping people mostly on Amazon KDP business.
So if people wanted to put together a book or a manual or a budgeting tool like you mentioned, or a calendar, something like that, perhaps if
Yes,
they had insights from their specific niche or area of expertise that they wanted to share.
exactly. And
They
I'm
could.
also offering coaching, like if they want to speak specific topic. It's yes, it's really adaptable to the needs of the people.
Very good. So I'll add a link to your LinkedIn and also a link to
Yes.
your website, just in case anyone's interested. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.